Welcome back to another day of living in the new house. What have we been getting on with? Oh, hang on. Incoming news alert. We're going to cut live to the field to reporting Ryan to talk about some major new news update on the tile situation. Over to you, Ryan. Thanks, Ryan. Reporting to you live and direct with the one and only Elizabeth, who has been very busy today. Would you please update us on the current tile situation?
I picked tiles.
This is like that dramatic and engaging breaking news story that's come through, and I asked if she was ready to go.
I picked tiles.
She has. She picked tiles.
They're the tiles that we liked from the very beginning a month ago. We finally decided that these are the tiles we're going to go with. So
she's been up to the shop today, to
yes.
the tile shop.
Been to the tile shop.
She's made a new friend, which is good as well. And this is now what we're going for, and later on this afternoon we won't be doing any physical work, but we will go and measure and work out how much we need to go spend on tiles. So anyway, over to you in studio.
Okay. So we liked these one. This is a dune. But Ryan felt like it was too much white for our bathroom. So basically what I figured out today is what we're going to do is we're going to put, I think it was this kind of flooring on the ground, and then we're going to put it on a panel on the bathtub, and then we're going to follow it through on the wall, and then we'll have the marble on the back wall and on the front wall, and then we're going to have the two walls that are just going to be painted, but they're going to be covered with like cabinets and stuff.
Reporting Ryan, hold that in the studio. We're going to run up to the actual scene of the crime and go investigate what that could potentially look like. Reporting Ryan number 2, coming live from the scene of the crime. Would you please walk us through the exact crime scene in location?
Well, I hope it's not a crime scene. Okay, so this is the sample we got. It's not a great sample, but the actual whole layout of it is really nice.
So that tile is going on that wall?
This wall, and it's going on this wall.
And it's going all the way across that wall up to where the
wall.
boxing is going to be there.
Yeah, and so then the wood is going to be on the floor. It's going to be on the, what's this called?
The bath cover panel. The bath panel.
The panel.
The panel. There we go.
It's going to go on this wall as well. Because then it will break. It won't be all white. It'll break it up a bit and it'll look nice. And it will look good with the oak doors.
And which way, because it's wood, which way are we having the grain running? Are we going across the wall? Are we going up the wall?
We're going across.
We're going to cross the wall, and the floor, we're going to cross all the same way.
It's all going to be the same. It's going to be like a flow.
Yeah, so it's got to go that way.
Yeah, that way.
Cool.
Yeah. And then this wall and this wall are going to be painted. But we're going to have like cupboards and obviously the mirror, so it's not going to be a lot of wall that you see anyways.
That concludes our live report at the scene of the crime. Back to you in the studio, Ryan. Thanks, reporting, Ryan. A decision has been made. Look at that. We're going to go for some tiles. So, major task for tonight is we're going to be measuring up how many tiles we actually need to go purchase. So you actually went and got a quote from your new friend at the shop as well. So it gives us an idea what we got. They actually got 40% off them at the moment as well. So actually, I was quite pleased with the prices they were chucking out. So I'm going to go work out how many we think we need and then add some extra ones to it, because this guy's definitely going to break some, because I've never done tiling before. My friend at work, James, has been helping me and giving me advice on how to tile, because he has done some tiling before, but I'm guaranteed I'm going to break at least 14,003 tiles. So we're going to go work that one out along the way. In other news, I also picked up the miter saw, so we are about to go do an unboxing of the miter saw before we go and do some tile measurements. So I'll meet you back downstairs in the other studio for that update. Welcome back to the strangest news segment in the world, to Ryan's now unboxing channel. We've had the breaking news, it's now time for the breaking into the boxing news. So this is the miter saw I purchased from Screwfix yesterday alongside all that part of the Black Friday deals. Obviously, I'd love to have everything Dewalt, but given the amount of miter sawing I'm probably going to be doing from this point forward, it's not worth spending like £300, £400, £500 on a really expensive Dewalt miter saw. Did look at potentially getting the battery powered ones, but again, the amount of power these things chew, there's no point having the batteries in them, so I've just gone for the wired one, and Screwfix had this one on offer in the Black Friday deal, marked down from £100 to £80. And then with the work voucher discount thing I got like another 6% off that. So what's like 74, 75 quid, whatever it is. Inside that ballpark. So this is the one we've gone for. It's made of aluminium. It's 310mm bed.
Aluminum.
50 kilos of aluminum. For anybody out there that is British and does pronounce aluminium supposedly correctly, turns out we're actually all wrong. The guy that actually invented it did actually spell it the American way. So sorry, British people, but I'm actually siding with the Northern Americans. So one thing Elizabeth and I actually agree on in terms of pronouncing things. But yeah, we're going to unbox this mitre saw. It means I can return Jack's, thank you very much for letting me borrow it, one to him, and we can be using this one. You may be asking, you built all of the stud walls, why did you buy one? One, I want one. Two, it's a useful tool. And three, some point in the future, I know that the camera woman's going to want a planter or vegetable plot or similar in the garden, and we're probably going to have other things we're going to want to build. It's just going to make life so much easier. So I went out, I bought one. Good time to buy one because it was Black Friday. So let's get on with the unboxing anyway. So we have clamp thing. I've never really used those anyway. Bag thing. Cool. We can put it on the vacuum if we want anyway. I don't know. Yeah, things for holding your toast in, I guess. We'll figure that one out. Instructions. Right, let's get into the interesting. Oh, an Allen kit. I wonder if that'll fix the one that I lost previously that Dad refound. And then here is the baby. So, this, I believe, actually has a bigger bed than the one that we borrowed off Jack's as well. So it should be good for cutting bigger boards, which we're probably going to need when we come to doing planters. That is greasy as anything. Here, there we go. Can you see it? Let's get rid of that as well. Add that to the bonfire pile. There we go. One mitre saw with humongous range of travel and bed. And yeah, feels right. Looks alright. The main difference between this one and the one we have got with Jack's already as well, though, is this one doesn't have a brake on it. So it will just sit there spinning until it stops eventually, so you won't get the sparks flying out of it like on that one. But anyway, very happy. We will put it to the test when we build some door headers, which probably won't be tonight, but hopefully in the next couple of days we'll give it a good buzzing. One square wall, rectangular wall. Welcome to my now art studio segment of the vlog. We've worked out the number of tiles we need for the shower side, which is quite easy because they're basically the entire width of the wall plus change. So I know how many we need for that. We're now on the back wall section. Now on the back wall section, there's the tile length is 1,510mm, but the wall is 1,710mm. So we're going to want to stagger them in the right way, which means I need to work out how we're going to stagger them to ensure we order the right number of tiles. Because I could just do like a pattern, which will look like that, basically. Which would be really efficient in terms of number of tiles that we use. But would also mean they might not look the best. So hang on, I'm going to need your style input in a second, camera lady. That's your new job title, by the way. It could look like that.
It could look good.
That's efficient in terms of number of tile usage. Or if we alter the pattern, we may need to order some extra tiles, but it could look better. So that's option number one.
Okay.
We could also do this. So we can have bigger sections. Like that, I guess. Really does depend.
Yeah.
Maybe we go look at some guides on how to stack up wood.
We might need to do that. Oh yeah, because I guess it is wood. So that actually changes it, yeah. Yeah.
You do it the same way as you lay bricks, and you obviously lay a brick there, and a brick on the top halfway in between the two, and you stack it that way so it looks neat. What's the best way to build a wooden fence frame?
I think I almost prefer this one a bit more. Because it just looks a bit more even to me than that one.
Yeah. And I'm thinking try and move more of the grout lines away from where the shower is.
Yeah.
So that will cause less issues.
Yeah.
we will go back to the design studio and update you when we have made a decision regarding tiles. Oh! Changing thought process. Welcome to design thinking, conceptualization, DFMEA for anybody in engineering who knows what it is, or blue sky thinking, or what's it called? I've forgotten the term we use when we do it at work and we do conceptualized thinking. You throw wild ideas out and see what sticks.
In Canada, we call it bullshitting.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Anyway, we look back at the photos to look at how they laid them out and the ones got there. And they've actually done theirs vertical, which got us thinking in the bathroom, actually, vertical may be the way to go. Reasons for thinking. First of all, if we do vertical, because we're having the same tiles on the floor, the tiles will flow along the floor, up the bath panel we're going to make, and then up onto the wall, so it will look like the whole thing flows in one way, which will look better. On the downside, it probably is going to make it harder to do tiling, speaking from a point of zero experience, because in my mind, tiling that way, I can do layers and build up the wall, whereas going across the walls is going to be much more difficult to tile. My brain also said, I've got to cut some of those tiles lengthways as we go vertical, but then when I actually thought about it, I've got to cut the tiles lengthways anyway. So the reason that's a problem is these wood tiles are 1,510 mil long, and I don't know if I've shown the tile cutter that we have downstairs, but it's about yay big, and the tiles are about yay big. So we're gonna have to work out that one. Maybe on James's recommendation, it may be being done with an angle grinder, which is going to be just as fun. But the other thing that's probably swaying the argument is actually if you look at the way in which the floorboards go along the floor, admittedly although they're butted up to Kingdom Come and screwed down, they're actually all running this way anyway. So if we ever did get into a period where we did really need to do maintenance and we decided not to come through the kitchen ceiling, which is probably going to be easier, then actually having the tiles running this way makes life easier because we can just cut the grout out of those tiles and lift them up going that way. The only thing I'm just going to do some research on is whether you are supposed to do that or whether you actually want your tiles running parallel to the floorboards, but I guess most people have square tiles anyway, so it probably doesn't really matter. But I think we're pretty much settled on the fact that they're going to go along the floor, and then up the wall and make it look like one flowing beam of wood going all the way up the wall. You've changed channel. We are now on countdown. What are you doing? Mental, ignore the calculator. Arithmetic to try and work out tiles and patterns. I think we've decided the pattern for the tiles should. I originally, I'll do a live reenactment of what we did. Basically, I went, oh yeah, oh hang on, that's terrible. Performing under pressure, I've got performance anxiety, it's not working. I originally went, yeah, what do you think of this to a tile pattern, Elizabeth? And she went, it looks very much like a graph. Which is right, it did look rubbish. So we looked back at the photos and they do like a much better sort of 3-tiered staggered effect. So I'm just trying to work out how that staggered effect works, whether we want to do 3 and 3 staggered or 3 and 4 staggered, because we need 8 tiles going across, 8-ish tiles going across, depending on grout lines. Which may make it challenging. So I'm going to continue doing some maths and I'll update you when I have worked out the number of tiles. And I haven't even accounted for where we are with the windows. But we did decide that we're also going to put the wood style effect as the sort of window ledges as well. So they look like all the surfaces of wood as well. So that's enough. More math. I'll update you when I know how much it's going to cost us. Right. Well, I've worked out the pattern for the wood tiles. I've actually worked out in such a way that when we do the flowing section, we should have like a long strip going here, a partial strip there, a full strip on the bath panel, and another partial strip going up the wall, going into a full one, and then that will stagger all the way up, so it almost looked like the panel's properly been split in the whole thing, so it should look quite nice. To do that and to do the window ledges here as well, I need 23 of those wood paneling type boards as well. There is a bit of a conundrum where I'm hoping that I've got like 30 mil, which will be eaten up by both tiling this wall, and the grout lines. May even be too much. I might need to still trim the edge of them. So I should only need 7 widths going across that way. The floor's a little bit more complex, obviously, because we're only tiling this part of the wall, not that part of the wall, and I've still got to work out the faff around with this plywood we've put behind here over the header and lining everything up there. But the 23 should cover it, but I'm going to order 4 spares plus 1 extra as change, just so I've got them just in case I do need to put an 8th one on. I shouldn't do, but just in case. And that way, if I do mess anything up, especially where I'm drilling these holes in the walls, and I need to look where those holes are going to line up as well, because that'll change where we may or may not put things. Yeah, that will change. I wanted some spares in case we cock any of those up. So I'm thinking 23 plus 5 spares. That'll give me plenty of room for if I do things wrong. It'll also mean then I've got spares I can just slide under the bath just in case I need them. That's going to come to about £482 for those tiles. I'm now working on the conundrum of the back wall. Now, in the shop, they haven't staggered the tiles. They've just stacked them up square. I'm a little bit concerned about doing that in terms of trying to make it square and look neat, but I do think it looks quite good. And now what I'm just deliberating on is how to pattern these around on this section of the wall here. So, I've got 2 options. I either make my life easy in terms of putting a big cut panel across that wall there, and what I end up with is a 330, a funky cut to do around the window there, and then a bit of a small tile at the bottom and a bit of a small tile at the top. Which means I'm probably going to have to do more cutting, but it makes fitting around the bath a little bit easier. Or what I can potentially do is work full tiles up from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. And then what I then have to do is either will have to cut a panel to fit it or a tile to fit in round that bath, which is probably going to get a little bit more complex. So I've got the choice between more cutting or less cutting, but the less cutting is more complex. What I think I'm going to do before I make any major decisions on that is just have a look at some of the best practices when doing it. Do I want to leave the partial tile at the bottom rather than the top, in which case that may change things, or am I better doing partial top and bottom to make around the bath easier? I think I need to go do some research. So I'm not going to make an immediate decision on that one. I'm going to do a bit of looking around and chat to a few people and just see what we think the best tact is before we need to work out how many tiles then we need to order. Or I just rough estimate it, make sure we got plenty here because these tiles are actually cheaper than the wood ones, and we'll work it out that way. But we are making progress in terms of tile quantities, that is the main thing. Other discoveries and food for thought. Where that spigot is going to be for the handheld shower is actually not in too bad of a place. So I was just measuring off this wall 240mm for the width of the tiles, and that's only like 20mm off centre off one of the tiles, not accounting for the grout lines. So actually that's not too bad. So it should be middle on the tile, but it has allowed me to work out roughly where we want the control panel to be now, because if we do it about 614mm, 600, somewhere between 610 and 614, depending on how thick the grout lines are, we can make sure that the control panel's at least centered on one of the tiles going up the wall. So that's some good news that we can feed back into Alex. What I was just looking at as well, reference that conversation I was just talking about with the tiles. If I did do full tiles from the floor all the way up, actually I can do 7 tiles basically all the way up. I'll have to trim a little bit off the top again, just making room for some grout lines along the way. And maybe a little bit more obviously, because once we get the flooring down, the whole floor layer is going to be raised up. What it does mean though is that we end up with basically a 40mm strip of tile going along here and then feeding into the rest of the full tile up there to make it work, which that's going to make that corner really, really weak and put it at risk of snapping. While doing that conversation though, we're also talking about, right, okay, well, how do we do the edging? If we're tiling inside the window edging, how do we do the edging inside of there? How do we want to physically edge that off? Now, if we decide to put a wooden effect tile across that window ledge, then it might look a bit strange with the corner beading, depending on what type of corner beading we use. So we have really got to have a think about how we want to do that as well. So another thought for the consideration. But I have done enough maths for the day. We haven't physically done any work. It's been one of those planning kind of days. Tomorrow we're going to head out to Costco, do a bit of shopping and stuff, but I'm hoping, depending on what time we can come back, I can get back and at least finish plastering this ceiling. And hopefully that wall, because I want to get that done ready so we can start looking at getting radiators on. But anyway, we are going to leave it there for today. No time lapse, no music at all today. It's been a news reporty time of day, so thank you for tuning in to the 10 o'clock news. We'll keep you updated on progress over the course of the next few days, provided you subscribe and tune back in. But anyway, happy hunting, and we will catch you all in tomorrow's vlog.